Thank you guys for tuning in to our weekly Crown of the Gods stream. Um, we have been busy this last week doing lots of fixes, and we did a pretty big patch. What was it, Thursday? Friday? Friday.
Thursday, I think.
It was Friday.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
We did a pretty big patch Friday that fixed a lot of annoying issues that people were having, as well as broke a couple things, which I went back and changed back,
Unbroke.
unbroke. Um,
Kind of.
well, like the city group should now sort like they did before too, so you can now rearrange them. Um,
Oh,
Yay.
yeah, but now they're going Z to A.
Mine don't.
Really? I've had a couple of tickets on it.
You have to reorganize them because it got reset.
Okay.
So it's not just going to snap back to how it was. Been doing a lot of work on the overviews this weekend. I guess we could start. I can explain a few of them in a few minutes as more people get on. Talk about what they do and how we changed them. Um, put some stuff in I think people will like. Also been working on the new world map some in between bug fixes, so they now have a menu at least.
Yay.
Yay, look at it there. Pretty.
So work in
Sleek.
progress.
Very sleek. I like it.
And I'm going to put in a drop down where you can actually highlight certain players without actually putting them on a list or anything. So you can just at the time search somebody up. Yeah, we get about 50 a day or so on
For the
Let's have a
tickets.
look.
on a good day. Tickets.
Let's see.
A lot
Some
of times
days are
they're the
slower than
same.
others.
A lot
I'm
of them
sorry.
are duplicate issues though. So a lot of
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
we'll get 25 tickets on the same thing.
Actually, for the last like 4 days, we've only gotten like 30 a day.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
As
Dropping down. And initially, once when Addy first left game chat, it increased. It was kind of we were at about 40 a day, and then after Addy left, we were up to kind of about 70 for a while. And it's kind of been gradually decreasing since then, fairly steadily. Now we're down to 30 a day or so. So
Well, I think the last couple of patches, they were pretty whopping big. I think that had a pretty big impact on it, too.
yeah, I'd say so.
yeah, just been fixing every ticket that comes in, so the tickets go down for it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I need to put that in for temple donations, so add that to my list.
Will do.
Um, is he talking about the um, news and announcements page?
That should X out.
It does X out. Oh, I think he's talking about the actual notifications that come up. And you have to click the OK button and not the X because the X isn't hooked up to
Oh
the
yeah, we do have
notifications.
it.
Oh,
We do have
no.
it.
He says his news and announcements won't close.
That's the only way to close it. There's no OK button. He's talking about notifications.
Okay.
The pop-ups. Yeah, we do eventually need to get a close all button.
Yes,
Yeah.
close all button would work.
Yeah.
But the OK button and the what does it say? OK or close?
Okay.
Works the same as the X button. But I do need to hook that X button up. You can opt out of them in the settings.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at event options, you can opt out of event notifications. So if you uncheck them all, you won't get any pop-ups. I think there's only the only pop-ups that you can't ignore are the winning the game of pop-ups.
Yeah.
So everybody gets those.
Dave, you can collapse your left-hand menu to see those tiles for now, and for the next server, those will be fixed.
No, he's talking about the scroll, and I think I can fix that on the next patch.
No, it's like on C20. If you go all the way left, you
Yeah.
can't see. Yeah.
So
For
that's,
now, if you collapse the menu, you can see those and click on them and everything.
but I don't think I'm gonna have to wait till next server. That's just me pushing it over some, which
Oh,
I can do.
okay. Cool.
Yay. Cool.
I think it's only like 5 or how many squares? It's like 1 square in on C20 that you can't see. I think that's the only continent that gets that close to the edge.
Yeah, there's one very, very far left one I think that you can't quite click on, but you can click on all the others. You have to actually collapse it to click on the one that you can't get to. Yeah, the left hand panel being collapsible is so flippin' awesome.
Um, I'd still like to get some like different kind of small, tiny UI that shows up somewhere when we collapse. Um, that people could like attack from. I guess we could do that with like a right-click menu or something.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to be able to actually do stuff um, with it collapsed because it looks so nice.
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those
Like
are all
maybe if,
easy things to fix, like adding a little buffer on the side to make it so you can scroll all the way over.
is there any way if that's collapsed and you click on a set of coordinates, it'll bring up a little ring menu of things that you can do, like attacks or look at info and all that?
That's actually what I was going to do with the right-click.
Mm, okay, that works.
So right-click was kind of going to have like all these buttons here.
Orc having 101 members was a display only issue. They only have 100.
Yeah, it's just a display issue in rankings. I think rankings are actually counting extra for every alliance, one extra. Um, let's see. No, it's just when they have 100. But I checked the database; they only have 100 people. So
Yeah.
it's just display in the rankings.
Melamber says he's Scud. Okay, good to know.
So yep, I have to look in there. There's probably a double counted play or something because that does tend to happen sometimes for some strange reason. Wonder if I could see it on their alliance list.
I looked already. I couldn't see it actually, but I guess it is.
Yeah, I don't see it. You know, the other thing is it might not be displaying. They might just be a bunch of cheaters. You never know.
Yeah, it could be the people double listing here and there.
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah.
Because
The
like in
donations.
Alliance, yeah.
No, I think the donations is because I changed the way that donations were done. But there's some
Oh,
place
yeah.
where people are donating and still using the old system, so it's showing up double. Um, I actually have
Yeah.
a script that I run that cleans that up, and I need to go in and find the which actual spot. I think it has something to do with items.
Okay.
Oh, that could be.
So I think when somebody's using items to donate, it's showing up as a different kind of ID, so it's not counting them as the same person.
Right.
Um, just because I had to change the ID system midstream.
Yeah.
I guess we can start going over the new overviews.
Yes.
I spent a good part of today and yesterday um, redoing the overviews completely. So overviews now have kind of a floating header. So no matter where you scroll, I don't have enough cities to make it scroll. Um, it will always keep the header. Everything is sortable, of course. You can actually search for stuff. You can choose how many entries. I also put in a copy, so you can copy something and put it into a Google Doc, and it'll copy the entire table with all the headers. and just paste it straight into Google Docs if you want, or it'll download the CSV. Um, you can choose, all entries or 100, or and it'll just kind of show up here, but the headers will remain, and so will the scroll, so you can always kind of see where everything is. Um, I also added, since it seems to be one of the biggest things that people are always looking for, is a "Where's my senator" tab,
Woo!
and this is kind of like an overview of all of your senators. There's an overview on the top that says, the amount of cities that you can have for your rank. Then tells you the amount of current cities you have. Uh, tells you the total amount of senators you have. Um, how many you have settling, how many you have just sitting there, and how many are recruiting. And then in the list here, it will show you which cities have them. A kind of overview of the total, the settling, um, and the recruiting. And then if you click on it, um, you'll either get a pop-up or a table on the side here that says your settling and what time it arrives, um, and you'll get one on this side that says your recruiting and what time they will be done recruiting. So it should
Oh
give
my god,
everybody
awesome.
full information about everything that's going on with their senators, and no more lost senators without having to do troops overviews, which troop overviews got redone as well. I kind of put them together in a single tab, um, with a little slash for home and total. And then that gave me the ability to go in and be able to turn off columns. So if you just wanted to see how many vanquishers you had, you could turn off these columns, and it just shows the vanquishers. Or if you want to see vanquishers and sorcerers, or if you just want your offense, you could just select the offensive troops. And
Oh,
then
I lost my stream there for a
I
minute.
did too.
Ah, grr.
We went to this spin phones guy.
is it still spinning, or is it back?
No, it's back, I think.
Okay.
Anyway.
Not for me. Oh, maybe. No, black screen. Ah, there it is. Okay.
I'll wait a minute for people to get back on.
Yeah.
I'll back up, yeah.
When did I zoom or go out? Was I still talking about troops?
I think you were still showing the drop down and how you could select various troops off the drop down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the troops menu, you can now select whatever troops you want or don't want to see, and it will just show those troops. So if you just want to see where all your senators are, besides for the "Where's my senators" tab, you can do it that way, or where has scouts or anything like that. And you can, the same as all the other ones, you can choose how many you want to see. You can see all, or you can see just 100 at a time, and you can copy it to go to a Google Doc, or you can CSV it to go straight into Excel.
Cool. See, that's awesome.
And pretty much every one of the tables has the same options, so you can choose how many you can copy, or you can do it to CSV. I was going to put in a PDF, but I figured nobody would use that anyways. Here, this is one that actually has more than 20 spots, so this is Alliance overview, and you can see how it's only showing the top 20, and I've got a little page button here, so I can see 20 at a time if I want, or I can switch it to all and just see all of them at the same time. If not, it pages down here at the bottom, depending on how much data you want to see at any given time.
Sheriff asks, what's up with Alliance Troops view? To see all on Alliance's troops, are we doing that?
Maybe we can put in some kind of TS
Total count
thing,
or something?
like we do for rankings, and just put it overview so it's exportable, and allow people to, use the same options where they can turn it on or off.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
I had it suggested that you could choose two options to show your TS to all of your alliance, and then to show it just to leaders and officers only.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hmm. I thought that was a nice suggestion.
Yeah.
Um, all the options do work now too. So that was one of the things we did with the patch was all the options work. So you can choose who sees your stuff, and also the flag color saves too.
Yes, it does.
Um, as far as the whole thing, I almost feel like that's might be too much.
It might kind of make it too easy.
Not just too easy, but some people might not want their alliance members to know, or their alliance leaders. So maybe it's something we make another option for.
Okay.
You know,
I think though, having it so that attack planners can see your TS, that's going to remove their ability to know what ones you have saved for rating. And I don't know. I kind of like being asked what I had.
and the game is about organization. So if you make it too simple, then people don't actually have to interact with each other.
Right. Yes, eventually we'll probably have skins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
we're
will.
actually probably going to have a skins market where people can create their own um, looks and feels. I'm not quite sure how I'd do that because mostly that'd be for like a client side kind of thing. So you just load a different sheet and see different building stuff. Um, Having a bunch of different skins for a regional map would be increasingly difficult uh, because you'd have to download pretty much every image that everybody was using in order to see it. So maybe it's something where we just have special cosmetic um, castles. Um, just a few
Much
of them.
much like other games. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, we are planning on Snow Cities. Um, I had a nice screenshot of it the other day.
Oh, jeez.
Where was that screenshot?
You're evil, Gordy.
It was just a piece of white screen.
It was just a piece of white screen. It was a blizzard.
A blizzard.
Yes. There is a request resources button. I think eventually we're going to add in a fill, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We're going to. It will actually be in the request resources like window. I think probably what we'll do is just either have a like a select box for either request to this city or request to a different city, and you can put cohorts in there either of one of your own cities or else somebody else's,
Yeah,
and
select the
kind
donations.
of fill that way. Yeah.
Um, Alliance Cities is the same thing, but one of the new ones I put in was the Trade Counselor overview. So I can walk through that and explain kind of how it works. Um, Basically, this is an overview of all your Trade Counselor settings for all your cities. Um, these are just showing all of your cities, and it shows kind of how many, an overview of how many are requesting from and how many are sending from. If you are able to refine in that city, the current res count, the current carts and ships, and then if there is a city that has other cities requesting from or sending to, you can just click here, and it will show you what cities are requesting from, or what cities are sending to if you have it over in this one. Um, and I haven't hooked up the buttons yet, but what this is it's going to have these placeholder here's that show the current amount, and you're going to be able to set your trade counselor for that specific city straight from this menu. So if you decide you want more or less, probably need to put a delete button too or something. Um, but this would allow people to edit their cities and their trade counselor settings straight from here. I might need a second one or maybe some kind of different one that just shows all of the cities and allows you to change each city individually. because this one kind of works more for hubs than it does for the individual cities. And then there's a city group up here where you can, you know, select a city group to look at, and it will filter out your list. But that should help people too with trade counselor settings and managing them.
Cool.
There is a scroll bar in this one if it shows if there's more than 20, I think. Yeah, because there's no need for one now. But like these ones will have scroll bars too. If there's more things to show than can fit. Which one was it? Alliance Cities? See, this one has a scroll bar. It all depends on how much data there is.
I think I meant from side to side rather than a vertical one.
Yeah.
You know, the problem with side to side is you can only fit so much on a screen. In order to
Yeah.
fit everything in there, we more or less have to make it very, very tiny. So it's kind of why there's a scroll bar. But I try my best to keep it as condensed as possible without the overflow. So like this one, I purposely made an effort to keep it low. And you know, I might add in here eventually, at like under these two, the current trades going to or from the city might help too.
Ed would like to know if we can add an option to remove name tags from region view.
Name tags. Yeah, we could probably do that.
Yeah, I think we can do
see
that,
why
sure.
not. Like all name tags. I think what Ed's talking about, because I've seen him talk about it before, was removing his own city names and just keeping his regular name.
Oh, so choose whether it shows your name or if it shows your city name.
Yeah.
Okay, could we do that?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think, yeah, that's actually pretty easy to do, I think. Just have to add an option for it.
Okay, can do.
Dorno says that he's not getting the trade counselor overview.
What's it doing?
Just not there.
Like the option isn't there?
Or maybe it doesn't populate.
And he said it's just not displayed.
Maybe try a refresh. See if it shows up. Oh, he doesn't see the eye. Do you have any numbers in it? Because the eye only shows up if you have something requesting or sending. If not, it doesn't show up.
Right.
So if you just see zeros here, it's not going to have the eye.
Right.
It's kind of more of like a hub manager. Maybe I'll switch this to hub overview and then make an actual trade counselor overview where you can go in city by city and choose the different options. No, I don't think that I'll be allowing region view to you know, remove and add things. It's, you know, going to cause a lot of problems. And unnecessary renderings and changes and things.
Yeah.
And I do want to add, you know, go back and start adding buttons in for some of this stuff, like incoming attacks, where you can like speed up your reinforcements straight from the overviews.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
The incoming attacks, if one of you guys is in game and want to send an attack at me.
Adorno, the eye isn't going to show unless you have resources actually requesting currently. So that's why you don't have any eye on your overviews for Trade Counselor right now. You have nothing actually requesting.
I could make an order a pizza button.
Hmm.
and then we just kind of upcharge it. So $30 you can order straight from the game. You know, we split it with the pizza company.
And Gordy will deliver it right to your door in his chariot in gladiator garb.
In 45 days or less.
Yeah.
Yes. I should now be attacking you, Gordy.
Oh, see, so with the incoming attacks, this one also has you know, a little drop down, and where you can see people's troops home, um, a little list of the troops. Then you can see the attack, and then if you go into the game and which city are you attacking? You
And
you're attacking.
I'm attacking City of GM Gordy.
So yeah, if you send reinforcements to it, and then you refresh, you can see that you've got incoming reinforcements, what time they land. It'll order and the time of arrival, so you can see what lands before the attacks land, what troops are incoming. Um, there's no spotted time, of course, but you can see the spotted time for the actual attack. And then this kind of top bar gives a overview of the number of attacks, how much defensive TS you have, when the next attack lands, um, what that specific city's spot time is, and the highest current senator siege. Um, so I really like incoming overview. I think it works really well. But
Yeah, I think so.
I'd like to have the little button here for reinforcements, so you could just straight use the winged feet on them, straight from the overview.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Same as trade counselor will eventually be able to change the options.
Will you be able to use steeds and oars from the trade counselor overview or no?
Probably, I could probably do a an overview that's just for um, trades. It's like an actual trade overview that lists your cities kind of like this, and then when you click a little eye, um, it'll list all the trades and when they land. And we could probably put something in like that.
That would be nice. That would be really cool.
Is it only Triari that gets stuck? Uh, see what info, because a lot of it is based on alliance permissions. So like incoming attacks, this is all based on the same alliance permissions. So if people can't see defense, they won't see the. Actually, I'll show you. Although it's, hold on. We'll attack. Oh, I think my attack times are sped up, which is good. But if we do that and then we quickly, what's my rank at? I'm a newbie, so we'll see incoming attacks. And what do our alliance options say? Yeah, because it's 1 hour before, I can still see it. But if you turn the options off, people won't be able to see it. So it works off the same kind of incoming and attack rules that the other stuff does.
What kind of info sharing, Morph?
On region view, you can double click a city and change to it. So if you, I mean, that's usually how I change cities anyways. If you just select one of your cities and you can double click it, and it'll take you right in. So it's kind of faster than a right click.
The switch to city thing, is that still not working right? Or we don't have that yet.
Which switch to city thing?
Like if you click on,
Like if you click on incoming, and it says your target, and you click on the
no,
target, it automatically switches you to that city.
no, if you're in region view and you click on another one of your cities and you want to stay in region view, but you want to switch city information on the left, a switch to city
Yeah, it does.
button.
I think.
No, you have to double click into it and then go back to region.
I was just putting the wrong city up. Oh no, I see what it is. No, it's actually it does work. Um,
I don't see how to do it because
new
right
city.
now I'm in my hub, but I have my city clicked. If I wanted to switch that and stay in region
Okay.
view,
Switches. You click city information, and then it says city name. You see, it says new city. I'm currently in city of Gordy. I switched to city, and now I'm in new city.
I do not see a. Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
That switch to city just doesn't show if you click somebody else's city, I believe. Um, yeah, it goes away.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to click city info to get the switch to city to come up.
Yes.
Okay. I had a ticket about that. That's why I was asking.
Uh,
The right click was a script.
yeah, and I
I'm
was
not
planning
sure
on
what script it was.
putting right click in, as everybody noticed the right click was disabled for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was me, starting to do it. I just got distracted, so eventually I will get a right click menu in. That people can, pretty much just have all the same options they have on the left. Yeah, right click will be coming eventually. I'm gonna probably need Ala to make me a little pop-up window or something.
Yeah, can do.
What all are we planning to add into right click?
Right click would pretty much just be the same as all of these buttons here. So attack, send reinforcements, send resources, city information, copy the chords, and then probably one at the bottom for switch to city, if it's your own city.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that would not be too hard, and that way you could keep this minimized and right click and get a little menu that would open up the actual window. And since I did make them all kind of draggable now across the screen, you could actually drag things all over the place, and I don't know, maybe eventually we'll get rid of all of the forced closures. You know how we close one tab when we open another one, and that way people could have 2 or 3 open at one time.
Yeah. Or you know how remember Sigamet's mail app in the other game? How it had like folders and you could organize what you had open or not? Was there any way to kind of mimic that?
There is at the same time. You don't want to give people too many options to do stuff like that, because next thing you know you get complaints about lag, and then you say, well, what are you doing? They say, well, I've got 347 mail tabs open. You say, oh, yeah, then you have lag. We did also put in, I don't know if anybody noticed, but for like reports and stuff, you can kind of go in and choose it, and then these buttons up top will now go back and redo all of the windows you just opened up. So you can go all the way back to everything you opened.
Cool.
See, now it's going back to the new cities, the alliance information, all the stuff that I'd seen before. so you can forward them back through everything that you've done before, and then with actual reports you can um, just choose next, and it will scroll down your list of reports as well.
Sounds good.
So little things like that make it easier. Uh,
Now, with reports, if you click the one on the top and you click next, it's not going to go. You have to click previous to go down the list. And that's confusing people a little bit.
let me see.
Well, for me, previous would
No,
imply older, which would kind of imply down the list.
no, it works.
Yeah. Oh, it must have changed because when I checked it, somebody ticketed that. And it would only work with previous. But yeah, now it works. Okay, cool. Never mind.
The forums I have not touched. I will get to them eventually. It's just I consider that like a second tier kind of thing. I know people use them and stuff, but there's a lot of other things that I'd like to get fixed before I start messing with forums again, because I have a feeling once I start messing with them, it's going to be 3 days of just a complete overhaul.
Morpheus asks, are we going to implement savable mailing lists? I think we do have a plan to do that at some point.
We do.
Yes. Before the end of beta 3.
Yes. We actually have something set up for it. We've got the contacts set up, so we just have savable mailing list here. Probably something where, you know, it only lets you choose alliance members, or, you know, maybe I put back in the same thing we had for like substitutes, where you can type in somebody's name and it shows up. You know, I'd really like to do that for the mail twos, like in, you know, Outlook. When you use Outlook and you start typing in somebody's name, it gives you a list of people and you can choose them. Then it automatically, you know, lets you start choosing the next person. So maybe that's something we add in down the road. I'm sure people can use Notepad for at the moment to make mailing lists.
Yeah. Or you can put them in the forums. That's what I used to do.
But yeah, we should probably be able to get some kind of save list. Only issue, no, I'd just save it separately, then have to load it whenever people click the button. But yeah, I'm liking this new way that overviews look. I think it'll
Yeah, me too.
make it easier
Yeah.
for people than one just long table where you can't see the headers.
Overviews are definitely getting really badass.
So I need to put some more charts in for the other stuff, like blessed cities. You know, we could put in charts for how many gods and, you know, the split between them, and how many are full and how many aren't full, and things like that.
That also reminds me, if you haven't checked out the contest, do so.
Yes, because we are going to get rid of direct dungeon reports in the game, and make a kind of dungeon overview or cavern overview. So we are having a contest to get everybody's kind of input and ideas on the best way to output the data, what they'd like to see. We can do it, you know, in expanding things like just like this, you know, with overviews, or you know, we could pretty much do anything. But that would kind of help with the server load on reports, and most people hide their reports anyways. So there's no reason to have those things loading all the time and saving like that unnecessarily. So, you know, some kind of 24-hour dungeon overview that shows, you know, your cities, how they've attacked. You could actually do it by city, and then, you know, kind of like the trade counselor does, where you could list it by city, show how many dungeon hits there were, how many total resources you've had come in over the past, you know, time, you know, what your troop counts look like that are out raiding, and then if you click it, you could see like individual line items for each individual dungeon report. But you know, I think that would really be the way to go, and it would make it so people who wanted to look at their dungeon reports could get better information faster than clicking through one report at a time, and also, save the reports for, you know, important things like getting attacked and things like that, because most people just hide their thousands upon thousands of dungeon reports. And if I look at the database of reports, um, even with me deleting dungeon reports after 24 hours, it is still, let's see how many there are.
It would take a lot of lag out of the game too.
Yeah, and let me bring numbers back. So in the last 24 hours, there have been 1,363,964 dungeon reports.
Jeez. That is a lot of raids, guys.
So the total number of reports is 1,871,000. So dungeon reports make up at least 90% of all reports. So if
It's
we
just
took those out, it would be so much faster. Be a lot faster to load your reports without having to, because if anybody notices it takes time to load the reports, that's because it has to search through, 1,871,000 reports to get the ones that match your filters and criteria and your actual player stuff, which takes time.
yeah. And this is just a way to show them, not how they generate. They're not going to actually be generated in the game anymore. They're going to generate into the overview.
They actually do delete themselves after 24 hours. So
Mm-hmm.
those 1,500,000 dungeon reports are the past 24 hours. Because I do delete them every 24 hours.
Back to blessings for a minute. Amaki says that blessings overviews do not correctly reflect the game stats.
Um, they run off pretty much the exact same functions.
What
So
parts of it, Amaki, aren't reflecting correctly?
Yeah, if you could get a screenshot maybe of your the blessing overview in the game, and then click on overviews and go into the blessings part and screenshot that to show us where it's different, and put it in a ticket, that would be great.
yep. Because then I can see what's exactly not adding up. But it should be. I pretty much just copied the function from the one that's in the game, so it should be pretty um, close. It is actually
Tear,
automatic, more.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
completely automatic. It just runs every 12 hours or so.
Tear asks, with the contest, is it possible to participate as a team?
Sure.
How would we do the prize then?
Split it.
Split it 100 ways, or how many members they have?
Huh, if that's what they want to do, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever is the one that posts it can say, I want it to go here, here, and here, and here. So that's that'd be just as easy to do.
M says we can just give it to him.
If he wins, we sure will.
It's so far he's entered a couple of different things.
Okay, so yeah, just take screenshots and ticket it, and then I can fix it. I'll fix it today, since I've
Yeah.
already got all this stuff open. And I've been messing with them all day. So if they're wrong, just take a screenshot of both of them. Let me see where they're wrong, and then put it in a ticket. But yeah, and if you guys even want to do, I mean, it can literally be anything that you guys want. We can change even the amount of, or the data that comes back. But I'm thinking that it should be some sort of by city summary, or even the ability to switch different views, like show all the different dungeons and stuff like that. So show all my mountain dungeons or things like that. But an overview of cities that shows how many raids and the troops and things like that, I think would be the most beneficial to people.
Yeah, and like percentages, like, um, you're bringing back 100% of what you could or 50% of what you could so that you can track performance too.
But
And you guys can use charts, line graphs, pie graphs, whatever you want, however you think that it would work the easiest for you to track that information.
yeah,
Go to town, have fun.
if you guys make it and everybody likes it, we can make it.
Yep, yep.
It's I just didn't want to arbitrarily make it. I thought it'd be better to do it as a contest and let the player base decide how they'd like the information seen, since they're the ones actually playing the game.
Yeah. No, Homer Paul, I'm really not the best with design stuff, so you'd lose anyway. Sorry.
Um, Overviews don't really take load off of the game. They do by not having the overviews in the game. They're more just kind of to help people play the game better and have their information all in one spot. So yeah, I mean, it does technically take a load off the game to be able to do it like this, because then you don't actually have to click through every one of your cities to see stuff. Um, so yeah, it does take off load that way, but it doesn't, directly affect load too much.
Well, if you remember other games, if you open that overviews tab, it would freeze your game for up to 5 minutes. And so, yeah, that part takes a huge load off the game.
Well, yeah, and it's there's so much more space, so I can do stuff like add in really nice table systems and things like that because I'm not worried about the overhead of the download of the game. Also, it takes up the entire screen, so you can fit more information on without having to scroll too much. Some things you just are going to have to scroll because there's no way I can fit 17 troop types onto one screen.
Homer says that your mic is really low and mine and Alice is really high.
Um, I just talk really well.
I'm going to turn my mic down a little bit though. And my mic volume is like already only 25%.
No, basically I'm doing
See
it
if that's
because
better.
it really helps people. Um, was that an old overviews shot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Taking a look
I
now.
forgot about all those different things. I
Oh
could
yeah.
add something like that in.
Yeah, you'd make a lot of people happy. There's quite a few that have asked for something like that,
I'm
where they
gonna
could organize things a little bit better.
I'm gonna add that exact thing in
Excellent.
with the little buttons and everything. Sure, I can do that.
Yay.
World map, yes, it's gonna zoom. The new world map is gonna be crazy cool.
Yeah, the this is actually a preview of what it looks like. Um, this is the new world map. It's kind of like based on a Google map kind of system. It's going to be external from the site, so it's going to be like overviews where you click world map and you can have 3 tabs open and just switch back and forth. Um, it's already got where you can kind of click on it and see the information. I'm probably going to add some sort of like enlightenment circle around it, each shrine, so you can see where things are, turn things on and off. It actually zooms all the way out. Um, it's pretty small. I put in clustering because that's kind of the issue with world map now. And it is kind of slow because I'm streaming and doing a Skype call and running the game and overviews at the same time. So it's a bit much on my tablet. But it does zoom all the way out. And it kind of renders into the um, region view once you get to a certain zoom level. And then as you zoom out, it goes into the more traditional kind of world map. with little pop-ups for the shrines, and there'll be pop-ups for the bosses. See there, you can see it zoomed out. So it kind of clusters the icons together, so you can see, roughly a population. Um, and then as you zoom in, they kind of break apart, so you can actually see the full breakout. Then you can see your alliance members pretty easily. You can see where all the shrines and all are on the map, and you can pretty much zoom it all the way out. And then once you zoom it all the way in, it will be in when it's done, more or less. I worked on it a lot yesterday, so it's when I have free time, I sit there and work on it and add in the options, and
It's looking really good now.
it is.
Yeah.
I do need Ala to go in and help fix the menu because I'm terrible at UI design.
Goldwinger asks, when will the Friends tab work? Before the end of Beta 3, we'll have it in.
It works now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The Friends tab, no,
Well,
it works
you
for
get
Ignore now.
Yes. So it's the anti-friends tab.
Ignore.
So
Before the
kinda-
end of Beta 3.
This is what it'll look like when it's down and fully rendered, which I think works pretty well. And you'll be able to change the colors of things, and probably be able to save it. I even made it so it looks like the little icons come straight out of the shrines, because it's just a straight picture of the regional map.
The right click, you'll be able to right click from world map and send to a boss, right?
No,
No.
you'll be able to eventually, maybe right click and see city information. Although I've kind of got it in there now, I'm just not sending it yet. But no, I don't want to put in stuff like that because that would make it way too. Boss hunting needs to be a little harder. Because then you end up with people who have thousands and thousands of boss hits, and some other people saying, I can't find any bosses, there's no bosses. So, you'll be able to see it, but you'll have to probably type in the chords yourself. I'll probably put in actions from the world map eventually, but I don't know if I'll ever do bosses.
Cool.
Morpheus asks, will we have an open beta 4? It won't be called beta 4, but yeah, we're going to have World 1 will be open beta.
Yeah, we're going to keep the beta tag until we're sure that it's,
Completely bug-free.
completely bug-free, just so that nobody
And-
gets their expectations up and gets mad that we didn't say it was a beta and it was actually live.
Will we have the chance to advertise it all before then?
Yeah, actually, we've been starting to do stuff like that now. So, advertising is a large part of what we plan to do. We plan on doing a lot of advertising.
Yes, everything will be at normal times one speed, regular raid times with the 1 hour load and unload and everything.
Yeah,
Right.
everything will be as it should be.
Which will be a good bit slower. We still haven't decided on night protection yet. I honestly don't know how to do it. We might do it just through options. Or through items.
I think we should do it. I'd like to get some testing on it just to make sure that it's okay. I know we did test it before back in the office, but I think it would be nice to have it. I think it would also be kind of more relaxing to the people playing the game to have some downtime.
I just don't know how we would do it with all the international players.
I think just have it as East Coast and let them figure it out themselves.
Yeah.
Or do it mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, or we could do that.
Move it up like 2 hours from East Coast or something. So that way it's not good for, the best way we could do it is we should we should have a poll that says, when would you like night protection to be? And then whatever option
Could just
loses,
be the Americans versus the Europeans.
whatever option loses is the option we'll select, because
Yeah.
nobody is happy. That means that you've done something fair. That's exactly what fairness is when everybody walks away thinking they lost.
The alpha the people who played alpha will have a special thing in their crown.
Well, those are the people who donated to the Kickstarter will have from the start of open beta onwards. They'll have a little medal thing.
We did tell them
in
we
their
put
crowns.
A medal thing for alpha testers for all the people.
Yeah.
Who tested.
Oh, really? Do we have a list of those?
We do.
Oh, cool.
I actually have
And
a couple of
the chat flare. I've had a few people ask about that chat flare.
Wait, what?
The chat flare from the Kickstarter.
which
Yes, yeah, that's the same thing. The medal.
which will only be if you don't have a crown because we're not going to stack them.
Right.
Yeah, it'll still appear in your like player history though.
Yeah, we do need to add those in for player history.
Will you be
Yeah,
able to
we
choose
have them set up
whether you show one or the other?
eventually.
I think we could probably
Mhm.
do that. Like, we could turn the actual player history tab into like a radial button.
Yeah,
Yeah, Morph, that's what we're talking about. Alpha testers, we have a list of those and they'll get a special medal too.
Yeah.
Because the alpha testing was really hard too, and everyone should be recognized for it.
Yeah, it's probably going to say something like I survived Crown of the
Yeah.
Gods alpha testing and,
Yeah.
and still have all my hair.
most
I
of
don't
it.
know about hair, but we survived it.
Um, I'm still surprised how many cities we have on regional map and how well it's running. I mean, it
Oh,
runs.
region is great.
I mean, not only does it run well,
It's
but
yeah,
those um, the new label system I put in works just so great.
Yeah, it does.
Because you remember the more labels that there were, it was crashing for a while during the alphas when we had too many cities with labels.
Yeah.
Um, it's actually took me a good amount of time to figure out a good solution for it. And I'm probably doing it a way that I don't think anybody's ever thought to do it before. Um, Still needs some work because some of the newer people aren't updating. But basically, it's just making an image file with all of the players on the server and actually generating them so that these get downloaded as a big tile sheet of labels and then get placed directly into the map at load. So the only ones that are rendered are your actual cities, which is why I think Ed wants the option to turn that off because that would slow it down a little bit. If you had 500 cities, it might take a little bit more time to render. Shouldn't be too bad though.
It only takes a couple seconds for that to pop up.
Um, the only kind of lag that you ever get on this is instead of doing like a black screen, as other games would do, you kind of will get like a pause where the screen doesn't scroll, and that just means that the section you're moving into is updating. So
Yeah.
it does a quick little pause, and it's nothing that's like too major, but it's actually a lot nicer than getting a black screen and waiting for it to load up.
Rithrin, that is on our suggestions list at the moment to turn city groups into basically like checkboxes. You can have multiple city groups selected at the same time.
Um, like in the drop down.
To change the drop down into a kind of a select box sort of getup. The specifics of it are still being worked on.
I mean, I guess that's something we could do. That's not
Yeah.
I mean, that's not too bad. I hate to add too much stuff that causes lag because everything that you do kind of needs processing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the false starts were fun. So were the oops.
Oops.
Um, but it got the game to where it is now, and I think it's pretty damn stable.
Yeah.
Things are running well. It's just now little things that we fix in the patches. Gives me more time to work on a new world map and new overviews. With the new overview system I put in, it's probably going to be easy, and I'm probably going to go overboard eventually, and there's going to be a giant list of different overviews for people to look at. Because I am a data whore by nature.
Imp says no more exploits with a little sad face.
Yes, and thanks Emp for finding so many exploits. I would say of all the exploits out there, Emp probably found more than anybody else. Between putting negatives into boxes or doing all types of changing his times.
Yeah, messing with his computer clock to See what would happen.
You know, throwing his laptop in water and see if it still worked. It didn't. That wasn't a good exploit test. I would like to get one more, um, you know, fixed box here for the hub. You know, so people could put their hubs in there and just have uh, the trade counselor auto populate from the hubs. Because most people have hub groups anyways, but to have one that's standardized, I could also use that for the trade counselor one. Trade counselor overview.
The troops overview, a pie chart for infantry, cavalry, mystic, and so on.
Yeah, we can probably do that. I actually
By
did.
type rather than just.
Individual troop, yeah.
Yeah.
I did switch the troops up now, so now they count for troop strength and not by actual count in the pie chart,
Oh,
so you
good.
can kind of see a better view of it. Because you know some of the higher troop strength troops weren't showing up on the chart.
Emiki wants to know if you can add score into the city overview so she can see based on score what cities still need to be built.
I thought I had score in there. I can't believe I forgot score. Yeah, I can do it.
I'll add it to the bug list.
Yeah, and sort by troop strength in the war counselor. Some of them are still showing as units, like ships.
Oh, instead of
Yeah, so they're sorting funky. Cause like I have 700 or
okay, yep.
1222 stingers in one city, and it's the third one showing.
No, it's actually the sort's wrong. I need to go in there and make it manually sort off the numbers and not the comma numbers. What happens is that the sorter sometimes takes it as a string, and so technically, you know, 1-1 would be above 1-6, and that's why it's sorting it this way. Um, so I just need to go in there and make it numeric. So if you
Okay.
could add that to the list,
Done.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
I'm not even sure at all how type sorts. I don't know. It's just probably some sort of random way. But now, you know, people don't have to worry about using idle units for their senators because we have it in overviews.
A pie chart for each, like infantry, cavalry, navy, and mystic.
I wouldn't
Or
want
would
to go
that be too
above
much?
3 for each city or for each menu. So 3, you know, and I don't actually have to use pie charts. Um, you know, the actual thing that I use is just so people who are interested in doing the dungeon contest. These are all the different charts I could actually um, put into the overviews without much hassle at all. Um, so any one of these could be part of the dungeon reports, or any of the reports really, um, and they're quite easy just to implement. So if anybody wants any kind of these charts too, we could certainly add those in.
Cool. Kev says if you select continent in the war counselor and close it and come back, it'll be sorted again by all continents, and you have to, but it'll still say third, you know, whatever you chose, and you have to go back and select it again to get it to sort again.
Okay, add it to bug list.
Cool. Yeah, Google has a lot of charts, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
It sure
Oh, I
does.
see. Yeah, so I just needed to pop back to all every time you switch back and forth, or either that or keep it as it was and then just automatically sort when it comes in.
Yeah.
Let me different. I'm on 2 different computers. Just Google Google visualization, and it'll come up. But they're pretty neat charts, and you can actually do all types of stuff with them. And they're quite easy to put in. And I've already loaded the library for the pie chart, so if we wanted, timelines or anything like that, it'd be easy enough to do. These little gauges might be kind of cool for the dungeon one too. To
Yeah.
show, what percentage of the raids were.
Uh, Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ella.
Look at that.
But I was going to say that Homer Paul was asking about maybe timing res sending, the way that you can time troop sending.
I kind of feel like that would be a little bit overpowered for attacks. If you see a bunch of attacks incoming to different cities, you just jump
Yeah, that's
around
true.
them, set up all the resources to go out 1 second before, and then go back and
Yeah.
just cancel them all afterwards.
Yeah.
Gordy, go back down to the one with all the dots.
The one with all the dots.
Yeah, you hovered over it and the dots kind of moved.
Oh,
The
yeah,
scatter.
they do animate.
I wonder if that would be a neat way to show, like, how many caverns you have around you.
Like the bubble chart.
No, it was a dots chart.
Oh, the scatter
It's
chart.
back up the top. Yeah.
It was just an idea, real quick, when I saw it. I don't know if it's actually feasible or not.
The problem with the bar chart for troops was because there are 17 different troop types, so it, you know horizontally takes up a lot of space that way.
Xandabe says that in city overviews, it shows more cities that have academies than what he actually has.
Oh, maybe huh. Okay, I'll have a look at it.
Penalties for portal attacks are correct. That got fixed, not with the last portal opening, but the one before that.
Yes, they did. And we also fixed spot times on portals too.
Hmm.
Oh, Xandabe says it's the same value as Sorcerer's Tower.
Oh, I wonder
So
if
that if you have a Sorcerer's Tower, then it also comes up that you have an academy.
It's 7.5% per tile penalty past 5 radius 5 from the portal.
um,
So that 6th tile is going to be 7.5% penalty, right?
it's distance times 0.7.
Okay. But
Which
they're
is
they're
the
not.
same as the other game.
Yeah, they're
It's the
exactly
exact
the
same.
same as the other game.
Let me look real quick. The academy. Yeah, I probably just doubled up the value when I copied them in, so I can
Okay,
fix
cool.
that.
I'll add it to the list.
Yep, I can fix that.
Cool. Yeah, it is exactly the same as the other game.
It is exact. I'm not sure what game he's talking about, but yes, exact. So I'm figuring, another 2 weeks and we might be able to get this world map in. Um, Depends on designing it. I've got most of the functions in already. It's just doing the UI around it and stuff.
Okay, can do.
The blessing formula is also exactly the same as other games.
It is. Things people have to remember though is that the spread does go out because ineligible castles that have been, blessed the time before or are building um, don't count as the 16. So
Right.
if you have one building and one that was just previously blessed, it's then actually 18 out because you have to take those two out of the actual equation. So it
Right.
could go even further than the the actual 16. So I think that kind of confuses some people.
Yeah.
So the best way to figure it is that you know it's really 17. Um, it's really the closest 17, unless you have something building, and then if you have two building, it'd be even 19. So it's really 17 um, castles out, because one's always going to be um, on a cooldown from being blessed. Um, I mean, you have a trade counselor for sending resources, but I don't think I'm going to put any kind of timing in for sending um, resources, and that'd be way too overpowered for temple resources too, because that's one of the things that takes a lot of time is emptying your hubs into temples. So, um, getting rid of that would kind of take away a big aspect of the game. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think so.
it's a tedious aspect, but it kind of is important as the winning who is actually diligent on sending out their resources.
Homer Paul, we already answered that with the being able to time sending resources. It would be overpowered.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about with the temple resources too.
Yeah.
Um, and the time did not change because this is a fictitious world, and I am not dealing with changing times in the middle of the server. So,
Yeah.
And for live service, we won't either. Like we
no,
once a time is on a certain time zone, we won't be changing it for daylight savings or anything.
no,
Right.
there's
It'll just stay on the time that it started on.
way too,
Especially with all the petitions going around right now, where it's possible that daylight savings time might be a thing of the past over the next couple of years.
even if there'd be so many things that have to change. I'd have to change,
Like, what would happen if an attack were to land during that hour or something?
no, what I'd have
Right.
to do is I'd have to go in and have to push every attack up or down an hour. I'd have to push every dungeon raid. I'd have to do every trade, um,
Yeah.
all builds. So every build in every city would have to be pushed back um, to the appropriate time. It's too much, and I don't see much point in it. So um,
Plus everything queued with a counselor.
I would say that we're probably going to switch to you know standard time, so we won't actually look at daylight savings time at all. So it'll just always be on standard time. It just so happened that this one um, was already set
Open
for
during.
daylight
Yeah.
savings time.
Yeah, so if say a server is due to open in say Eastern time and it's daylight savings time is going on at the time, then it will just be 1 hour further back than
Yes.
actual Eastern time for the time that the game opens.
Yeah, it'll just always stay on. Um, we can probably put on there some sort of, I don't know, something where we can show the actual time on the servers. You know, I guess. But yeah, it'd just be way too much. I don't see the point.
Yeah, such
It's a
a huge amount of work for something so small.
and it's a fictitious game, anyways. If we were actually dealing with live things, then it would matter more. And people adjust after a
Exactly,
week,
Mark.
anyways.
The option to have the game show the local time would be very confusing, I think.
Um, you actually have a clock on your computer that shows the local time.
Yeah.
No, I like things to stay in the game time. It just makes it. I mean, it wouldn't be hard to do local time. It just makes it.
More confusing.
It would make it more confusing, and not only that, but if people's clocks are off, then they get kind of information behind because local time would actually go off your computer's time and not by your actual time zone's time. So things would show up funny compared to the actual server times. You know what you can do? I don't know if I can actually show it, but you can actually go into your time menu and you can set up a second time and just set it to the server time, and that way you can kind of just sit there and it will show you on your display your local time and server time. Um, or you can just, completely switch off of your local time and do everything by your server time.
Yeah.
Just change all of your phone clock and everything just to server time.
Yes.
Yeah. Rearrange your whole life.
Yes.
Start, we can put a little dinner reminder in there for people so they can get adjusted to it.
You have not eaten for 24 hours. You're about to pass out. Go eat.
Um, no, I think it's just going to stay on the server time, even night protection. It'll just kind of stay the same. Um,
It's
because
only an
it's only
hour
an hour.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you're switching 5 hours back or 5 hours forward. So, I mean, the 1 hour isn't going to make that huge of a difference. Um,
Right.
I mean, if you're playing at a East Coast server, the difference between 10 and 11 isn't that big. And that's what it would
Plus,
be if we started off standard time anyways. It'd be, it would always just kind of go forward. Is
plus,
that
we
right?
already have what 4 states that just don't do daylight savings time at all.
Yeah. And
So I mean, it would just be really confusing for the yeah.
and all of
It would be
Africa,
a
so
mess.
so our Zimbabwe player base would not be happy about it.
Yeah. You never know. Once we start advertising, you never know where people are going to come from.
You don't?
So, and you never know when you're going to find a gaming community from a post that somebody sees.
It's true.
Um, yeah, I like things to stay the same. It's a good suggestion. I can see why people would do it, but I think people would get used to it either way. So we are 22 minutes past.
Oh, so we are.
So we are. So we'll probably call it for today, and we will be on next week with more updates and you know more stuff added to the game that we can walk through and questions to answer. Um, the server seems to be going well. We're fixing as many of the issues as we can to stabilize the game and kind of make it all work perfectly. So keep putting in tickets if you notice something that bothers you or something that isn't working right, or if there's any kind of suggestions you would like to see. We do read all the tickets, and we do listen to suggestions. So, and also make sure to go to the forums and participate in the contest, because the more entries we have, the better the dungeon overviews will end up being. So,
Yep, definitely. Looking forward to seeing the suggestions.
Definitely. I've actually got quite a list of suggestions going.
Yay.
I don't know if you've seen it lately. It's pretty long.
and some we can do, and some we can't. But a lot of times, we want stuff easier for the player base, just not too easy. But
Yeah.
you guys play
Yeah,
the game
it's a
and not
delicate
us.
balance.
Or actually, the best place for a question would be ticket as well. But forums, you'll get other player input. So
Yeah.
maybe a player can answer it better than we can. So thank you guys for tuning in. We will be here next week, and we will keep working on the game and making it better and better.
Thank you,
Yes.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Bye.